Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and the folks from Lenovo let us borrow their Tab 2 A10 tablet to check out today. This is a low-end Android tablet. It costs about $220 as you see it, and its best feature by far is its screen. It's got a really nice IPS display on here, 10 inches touchscreen, of course, because it is a tablet. Really nice to look at, and especially nice to read text on. It's 1920 by 1200 resolution, which gives you 218 pixels per inch when you pack it into something this size. So it's really good for reading text because you're not going to see all the jagged edges of the text or any kind of pixelization. And the nice thing too, because it's got just a little bit more resolution than a standard 1080p display, is that it's a little bit wider when you're in the portrait mode. So if you're looking at newspaper articles or something, there's a little bit more text on the screen, and it's a little bit less constricted when you're in portrait mode. Now the performance is a little bit lacking, but that's mainly because they put so much into the display, you have to take some things out in other places. So it has an MT8165 processor. That's a quad-core chip at 1.5 gigahertz. It's perfect for the things that a casual user would do, reading websites, doing some email, watching some videos, but some of the higher-end games might struggle a little bit on here. The casual games, like Fruit Ninja or something like that, will be fine, but when you get into some of the higher-end 3D stuff, that will struggle on here. But again, this is a non-gaming tablet. This is more of a casual user's tablet. There's 16 gigabytes of storage for your media, but you can also pop in a micro SD card here on the side and add a little bit more, so you can put up, I think, to a 64 gigabyte card, so you can put your media on there and not take up the internal storage. Has Wi-Fi, of course, because that's the best way to use it if you want to get on the internet. Supports A, G, B, and N networks, and it also supports 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi also, and it's been working great here in my house. Has Bluetooth for wireless devices, and you can also plug in devices into its charging port here. This is a USB charging port, and it supports the OTG protocol. You can buy this $2 cable on Amazon and be able to plug in keyboards, game controllers, and other things into it also. So it's not too hard to add some other devices to it, either wired or through Bluetooth. You have the volume rocker switch here. The standby button is there, and that's pretty much it for ports. There isn't much else on here. You do have a headset adapter here at the top. On the back, you've got an 8 megapixel camera, so you can take some pictures. It's nothing spectacular, but it can take a picture if you need to take a picture. And here's a couple of images I took out in my garden, so you can take a look and see how those came out. The speakers are a little bit tinny on here. They do have this Dolby thing on there, so you can adjust some of the equalizer settings and whatnot to try to get the sound a little bit better. But audio quality isn't the best out of here, but if you plug in a pair of headphones, it will sound pretty well. So let's take a look now at its performance. Now, as a device that is geared towards casual users, it does the things that casual users do quite well. So web browsing is fast and responsive on here. Things really do pop up very nicely, very quickly, and the pictures are very sharp too with the display here. So really nice browsing experience overall. I am running the Chrome browser, and right now it's in the desktop mode, so usually it'll default to the mobile browser, which is a little bit faster. So pretty nice performance for web browsing. YouTube and things like that, like Netflix, are also pretty responsive too, so we can pop up a video here, maybe go full screen with it, and then we'll pop open and make sure that we're running at the full 1080p resolution, just to make sure. Yep. So as you can see, the videos come up very quickly. They're very decent as far as its frame rate's concerned. So I think if you're watching video, doing Netflix and YouTube and other things on here, it will do quite well. Now, while this is not a high-end gaming tablet, it's certainly capable of running games. This is Castle of Illusion, which is a Mickey Mouse game that I play from time to time on Android. It does run pretty well. It's certainly playable. It may not be as smooth as it is on something that costs more or something that has a faster processor, but it is good enough, and this is the kind of performance you can expect out of most of the casual games out there. Again, when you get into the higher end stuff, it's really going to lag quite a bit, but this kind of game is really the type that you should expect to be able to play on it. And for those of you who like to emulate old game consoles, I found the tablet does very well with the Sony PlayStation on backwards. So it doesn't do the Nintendo 64 very well, but you can certainly run the PlayStation emulator here. This is FPSC SE, I believe, and everything back from there. So the old 80s consoles and everything else will work fine, but anything above the PlayStation is a little bit problematic, but as you can see, the PlayStation runs pretty well on here. And I like to run the 3D Mark benchmark, which is a test of its gaming prowess, and it scores 9,257, so that'll put it well above some of the cheaper tablets that come in under $100 or under $150, but it puts it a little bit below what I saw on the HP Stream 7, which is an Intel-based Windows tablet, but that one has a smaller display and less battery life. So this one has, again, the nice 10-inch display, very high resolution. The battery is really good on here. I've been using this thing all day, really hitting it hard with all these benchmarks and games and web browsing and everything else, and I'm still over half of the battery left. So I think you're going to get easily a full day out of this thing, if not more, certainly on par with what I've seen with other tablets. Weighs about a pound, so not very heavy. And I think for a casual user who's just looking to read some stuff, do some email, maybe play a game every once in a while and doesn't want to spend more than $250, this is probably a good choice. And the display for sure is its best feature, and I think certainly really nice to look at even for long periods of time. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching.